Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel, and welcome to the biggest game of the season by a long stretch. It's Liverpool against Manchester City, and when these two meet, there is always fireworks, and especially in this fixture. Oh yes, go back to the Klopp Guardiola days. This is the first fixture without Klopp versus Guardiola. It's obviously Slot against Guardiola, and I'm delighted to say I have a very, very special guest. We have Luke from Not in My Lifetime podcast. How are you, Luke?
Very good, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling a lot better than probably you are at the moment, especially with the way City have been playing recently.
Oh God, mate. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, right. I mean, I predicted this a long time ago. I think when we lost to Brent, well, we beat Brentford 2-1, then we were a bit shaky at that game. I was at that game, and I saw signs that were a bit like Warren. I thought would get resolved, but it's kind of like snowballed into a really bad situation. We lost the six games, like 5 games and drawn one. And look, there are reasons for that. They were wrong. I haven't played well at all. It's their own fault. Mentality hasn't been there for shockingly for a while. Like this team usually quite mentally strong and can get through any kind of rough patch. But these 2 games have really shown how much this team has really declined in terms of mentality. Like it's not too bad when you look, losing games is part of football. You will lose games. It doesn't matter how you are. But when there's this kind of run, it's different because you can tell it's not just Rodri injury that's the issue. It would have won games, but would have had issues in midfield. But we're losing games because the defense is making so many mistakes now. 17 goals in this game, which is embarrassing for a team of quality because he's 7 in the league as well. Our goal difference is terrible. It's 5, but that is shocking for a team that's scored so many goals. I can see very little, but it's where we are because we haven't done enough in the window. And yeah, I can go a long rant about it, but I'd rather get on with the sort of go for it for a stage. But yeah, I'm doing what I can, mate. But Sunday's another game to play. I'm sure, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will certainly get into that. I've also left Luke's channel link in the description, so go and check out his channel. Yes, very interesting game ahead of us on Sunday. But yeah, let's start with we've seen in the past, we've seen good teams come to the sort of the end of their era. We obviously seen Klopp last season. We've seen him leaving Liverpool. Guardiola's obviously staying on as Manchester City manager, which you'll obviously be happy with. But I've got to say, I never envisaged you going 6 games without a win. So what has gone wrong this season?
Well, I think it goes back to 2 summers ago after the treble season because I think, look, don't be wrong, we were linked with when Bellingham was being linked with Madrid and us and Liverpool, right? It was that 3-team battle for him. I think the club didn't really sort of think about we weren't going to get him. I think we assumed that Bellingham would choose us over Madrid. It is what it is. It's Real Madrid. Like it doesn't matter how much we beat them. They are still bigger than us. It's facts. That's the way it's going to be. In modern European football, you've won 6, won 1. It's better than nothing. In my opinion, we've won 1. But they've won 15, 16. Like, they've won that. Their pedigree is just ridiculous. So, I get it. Bellingham wants to go to Madrid, is what it is. But we didn't recover from not getting the player we wanted. If we had got Bellingham, I think obviously it'd be a whole different story. But we didn't buy the right amount of quality 2 summers ago. And this summer just come, we should have got in there and thought, right, this summer we get players in quality. Like, Give a Rice was also available for £100 million, but I'd rather pick that it's a release clause. It's the quality of player you need at this point. I'd have paid it for him because you got someone with a bit of experience defensively and going forward who can score some good goals as well. We need someone a bit experienced, but also who can sort of get in the midfield, have Rodri out, and be a little bit more of an alternative to our styles. But we've got Savio, which, to be fair, I'm happy with. He's got a lot of potential in him. He's very good. I think with him, when the goals come, it'll start firing him in. It's just, I think you can see he really is growing into the team more, but he's playing a lot more games than he really should do, obviously, because he's only 21 years old. he's still very young. Well, he's very young still. He's still got a long way to go before he gets to his highest level. But we're playing. I play him a lot more because of injuries, and he's done all right. I say he'll get better, but I think this year he'll kick on into next season. I think he'll start getting to a really good level of winger. But Gundogan being brought back, I thought was just a stupid decision. I mean, as much as I love Gundogan for the treble year, he was unbelievable. Unbelievable player, scored some big goals, big games. Stepped up as a captain. He was a captain, a proper captain. He spoke very well. Barked orders, and him and Rodri were leading that team around, and he felt very safe knowing that in the big games we always stepped up because we had leaders in our team that got ourselves a line. The problem is since then, our record of big games is terrible. It is shocking because we haven't got a team that's settled. We haven't got the quality and substitution that we actually need. And even last season, I think we were lucky that when we did that, you fell off a little bit before the end of the season, and Arsenal just lost some games against Villa, and we got in just ahead of them. I'm not wrong. I mean, Foden, so Rodri, Haaland shipped him. Was it despite being injured most of the season? Some goals, and so obviously Kevin De Bruyne came back and was Kevin De Bruyne as though it can be. But when individuals are bailing you out for a title, okay, that's fine, but you've got to get that rectified in the summer. As you know yourself, how good Salah is, Van Dijk is. If you can carry it individually, that's not a good thing. As much as good seeing that player help your team out, the whole team needs to be working well, not just one player. You can't win a title with one player bailing you out every week. Because that player gets injured, you're screwed. So, yeah, again, there are a lot of issues, but I think for me personally, it's down to the window. I'm not saying I want loads of players in, but a couple of players like the season before, and this year a better quality would have given the squad a bit of a refresh. Some players might have moved on, some other players come back in. It starts fitting the new team into play. And we're now obviously behind now because now we've got to get players in January, make up for it. And how that January, the deal January is hard enough as it is. It's 1 month where prices go up because it's the season where you don't want to lose your best players. So I blame the club for not preparing well enough, but also the players themselves need to take responsibility for the mentality dropping and them not being. It's at the end of the day, right? It's a game of football. I'm not asking you to win 5 in a row because that's ridiculous in itself. It is 4 in a row is insane enough as it is. I'm asking in every game you play to put the effort in. 100%. If you lose the game, it is what it is. But put the effort in, and that's what we haven't seen for the last weeks.
Oh, yep, there we go. I can see where you're coming from as well. I think selling Alvarez and not bringing in a replacement, I think that was a big mistake. Big mistake. You look at Alvarez now this season, and he's firing in the goals for Atletico Madrid. He's doing really well. To not have like a backup to Haaland is a big risk, and especially if Haaland was to get an injury, and then I think the one thing I've been saying for ages, and I think a lot of people have been saying for ages, you needed a backup to Rodri, and I think and as you say, you're going to be looking in January now potentially for a backup for Rodri, and as you say, the January window is not the best as well, but. Could you have envisaged Rodri getting injured? I mean, I think from looking at on an outside point of view, I think you kind of look at there's two players are playing too many games. I think it's safe to say that players are playing too many games, and I think there was always a point where the last people you wanted to get injured were I had 2 of them, Haaland and Rodri, and look what's happened.
Do you know what, mate? As soon as that window closed, I said it isn't get injured. Because the club were naive. Look, I'm not saying Mendy would have joined us. Obviously, he didn't go to you guys, but I think if we had gone for him, he might have gone the pair, and probably because of Rodri being there as well. But I think with Mendy, he won't be a bench player. He's that good of a player. He can come and actually play alongside Rodri if he needs to, and play 2 pivots and that. And I think someone like him, I'm not saying just him. someone like him or Edison at Atlanta or someone young enough who's got experience to come into this team and offer something different to what we've already got would have been brilliant. I'm not asking for Valverde. I love Federico Valverde. You're paying £1 billion to Real Madrid to get him out of that contract. Like, we're not to get bankrupt otherwise, but I just wanted a different option in there. Just like, I'm not asking for a straight DM. I'm asking for something different where we can sort of give him a break in certain games so that they can rest him. So you have to play this game, Rodri. You can sit out this one or play these two in midfield like Kovacic and someone or someone else like that. Because even Kovacic, ways fit is really good at playing defensive as well and sort of tracking back. But if you have two players that do that role, that's fine. There's two players defending, coming back forward and going forward. It's all right. But you can't rely on one player. And last season, by the way, he was at risk as well. But he played literally every game in the Euros as well, and also the league. And to be fair to him, he's up for it, and obviously won the Ballon d'Or as well, which is brilliant. I think he deserved it. I learned to be Vinny Junior, but Rodri for me was a better player out of the three, the top four. Bellingham was great to begin with, and kind of paid off a little bit. Vinny Junior, really, I'll be honest with you, in certain games fine, but not every game was good. Rodri was good throughout the entire season and the Euro. So for me, it made sense. People just won't like that opinion because it's not the popular opinion. But for me personally, as the player of the top three, he was the best player by far. But you can see as well when he's injured how crucial he is to that team. Like, he is like the linchpin, the anchor. Like, when he plays, and we've got De Bruyne in front of him, Foden in front of him, that's a midfield that's hard to beat because you've got two players running around creating chances. You've got a guy sitting there, helping any kind of midfield getting through, and you've got the defence backed up as well, a bit more like Vardy, Diaz, Stones when he's fit, Akanji, and all. And when that's all fit and firing, it's one of the best defences and midfields in the world. But we're seeing at the moment, it's a team full of players that are in and out of injury. And without Rodri, it wouldn't have been a disaster if it got someone else in. Like, all right, it'd been awful, but it'd been, okay, he's got these two players to cover and an option on the bench as well. So it would have been fine. The club had prepared for it. But as soon as that happened against Arsenal, I knew it was ACL. You do the way he landed, you could tell when someone lands that badly, it's not a full hamstring tear. That's an ACL injury, and it's a shame because the guys are really like a great player. And I hate seeing players like quality out for so long because you want the best players playing week in week out. I don't want Salah getting injured, for the season because it's not great for the league. I want to see these players playing week in week out and playing each other. Like, Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah have been the best two players in the Premier League for the past, almost for 10 years now. Them two have been the levels. Haaland's not recently started joining them two at the top now. But without them two, this league wouldn't be where it is. And, if they're both out injured on that, it's bad for the league. So, yeah, look, it is a massive loss. But again, I said to you earlier off stream before this, it's more than just that now. As you can see, obviously by the results now.
Yeah, I think when you lose a Rolls Royce of a player like Rodri, and as you say, he's the cog to your team. He's the one that makes you click. He's the missing piece in the jigsaw. He's just so good. And I agree with you. I think he deserved Ballon d'Or. I know there's a lot of people that will be looking at Vinny Junior. I think Mbappe was in the top three. Like, Mbappe's form since moving to Real Madrid has been absolutely awful, and especially you look at last night. Conor Bradley had him in his pocket. So for me, Rodri was undoubtedly the pick for Ballon d'Or, But no, look, I think it's very, very unprecedented. You going into this game, 6 games with a win. But again, it's kind of a game where form does go out the window. I mean, okay, you haven't got a very good record at Anfield. I think it's 2 wins in 22 years. I think it is. Obviously, 02-03 was the last one. You obviously won with Nicolas and Elka. I remember that one very well. And then obviously we had the COVID one, and the Liverpool Man City. Well, that was a 4-1 win, and that was a Foden. Yeah, for Foden. Let's talk about him. What has happened to his form this season?
Do you know what it is, right? I think, look, the term world class is banned around way too easy for a lot of players nowadays. And I think Phil Foden had a world class season, but I said to people after that, I want to see him do it every year now. If you want to be world class, it's the way you got to step up. And for England, it was terrible. Look, again, Southgate ball was terrible anyway, but you're still that kind of player. Turn up. You are that good. If he turns up, I think win the Euros. Because Bellingham was better as it was. Saka was really good. Well, look, the whole team was hit and miss. We know anyway. It was we kind of shit out of the final, but we didn't win. But the problem is with Foden is his confidence is low and he can't do that. He's got to stop relying on everyone else. Like, you are that player now. You've proven it in big games now. You can do it against Madrid. You could do it in these games now. At the Bernabeu, he's got that unbelievable goal. Like, smashed it in. I thought, you have no reason to be like so no confidence. You are probably the best English player when everyone's when you're on it because you're that quality of a player. The problem is right now he's playing into his own head again, and we don't play well because we haven't got Phil on the pitch. He's kind of a waste of a player because he's just walking around or doing anything. Like, he's 24 now. He ain't 19 years old. He's got to start stepping up. This is where players mature. This is where a player either becomes a talent that could have been a lot better or the world-class level step up. This is where players become legends or they become players that just, what could have been. David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne have been the two I've seen for us probably in the league in the last 10, 15 years. That level's high enough as it is, but it doesn't mean he has to be that good. But he needs to just, what he's been doing last season, just do that level. Like, even if it doesn't go in, at least you're putting the effort in. We can see you're trying. If you're just and what was going on, what unlucky. Fair enough, he's playing really well, just unlucky. But we have eyes. You watch these games enough. He clearly isn't anywhere near the level he should be. And when we're playing the way we're playing right now, like, Haaland needs support. You are that support when Kev's back as well. We need him. And when he's not playing well, we don't play it well. So it's up to him. On Sunday, he's got to decide whether here and now, are you going to be in the season? Are you going to be that player this season? Or are you going to be a bit part again? Because it's now or never, Phil. It's now or never. So, yeah, for me, needs to really step up. Really needs to.
What have you made of Liverpool this season? Have we surprised you a little bit?
I was one of the first people when I managed Liverpool. I immediately thought brilliant because the thing is with Slot is that he's an unknown entity. Ten Hag was known because of how good Ajax were a couple of years ago. Who he was, and I was a fan of Ten Hag anyway. Like, I know he was Pep's assistant, but I thought, so what? Assistant manager Pep Guardiola doesn't mean he's the best manager ever. Like, Arteta company, they're not doing too badly, but you know what I mean. It's not doesn't mean you're the best manager of all time. Like, but Slot for me, the style of play he plays is just it's refreshing. I think Liverpool needed that because Klopp had run the team around. Not his fault, but his style of play ran everyone into the ground, and you could tell they were knackered. Like that, I think 1920 and 21-22 were like you could really tell like burnt those players because win them trophies like you did, unbelievable trophies that you won. You had to play the level such a high level to even get them trophies as well. So I think the refresh was good. I think you need more players in summer. I know people say, "Oh, but you're top of the league now." But the thing is, if you get injuries to certain players, it's going to start. You're going to start noticing that difference. I think Salah has been unbelievable. Like Nunes has been good, but you can make it yourself. He's not. He should be doing a lot more with goals than he probably already does. And you can see against Villa that goal. Do that more. You'd be honestly a world class hard to get anyway. But you'd be a top striker in the league. But he doesn't do it enough. He doesn't do it anywhere near enough for a player like the Holly. Like Yotta's in and out of the squad. That's an injury prone. Like he's a great player, Yotta, but he's in and out of the squad way too much for someone of that quality. He should be in that team constantly. Diaz was good at the start and kind of fell a little bit. And it's not. Diaz needs to be more consistent. If he's consistent, he's really, really good. But needs to start getting himself more form. Gakpo again, good player, but I wouldn't say he's like top level. He's a good player. Like he's a good squad player, but he's not like someone I say play week in week out and he goes because he won't always do it all the time. But he'll do it in the cups. But it's good. I think your front line is one of the best front lines in the world. The quality players that you've got in the front line, but are they all world class? No, it's one world class player. The rest of them are a bit hit and miss when they're playing well, not playing well, but they're all really, really good. The midfield, Gravenberch, what a player. I knew he was good because he was good at Ajax, but again, Klopp was the wrong manager for him. He needed some slot to really play him really well. And so did McAllister. McAllister's been fantastic to watch, honestly. I mean, that goal against Madrid was brilliant. The way that play as well, brilliant to watch. And look, I love football. Yes, you're a rival, but I love good football. And Slot plays good football that I like to watch. Look, obviously, there's some games that aren't great because obviously, you remember, you are still a new team, obviously, under a new manager. There's going to be a bit of leeway. At some point, you'll have your own patch of games where you aren't so good, drop results because you're a good team. Actually, all teams hit a wall where you've got to think, right, how do I get past this wall? So, that'll happen at some point to you as well as at other teams this league. But from what I've seen so far, I'm impressed. It's just now whether or not can the club back him, because again, you start off really, really well, but at some point there will be a bit where this squad's gone as far as it can. It now needs certain players, certain positions to progress this squad further. Trent, obviously, when he's fit, it's great. Is Trent going to stay? Is Van Dijk going to stay? Like, there's 3 players up in the air on contracts. Obviously, are they going to stay or not? So far, so good for Liverpool, but the future of certain players need to be sorted out because otherwise, next season will just be another season of a rebuild again, and then back down to third and fourth again. It's good. I'm really impressed, but Liverpool have now got to really back him now. You've got to back him because if you don't back Slot, then this whole first great season will then fade away if you aren't careful. So it's kind of like, well done. From a rival perspective, I'm jealous how well you're playing because I wish I was that right now with our team, but can they get the stuff behind the contract sorted out? Because that needs to get sorted at some point.
Liverpool supporter like myself would have probably said third place and maybe go far in the Champions League, maybe like a League Cup, an FA Cup, or something. But we never envisaged to have, I think it's now 18 games, 16 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. It's been an unbelievable start, and I go into this game at the weekend. I think a lot of, I can't really remember the last time you go into this game underdogs against Liverpool, because usually when we play you, usually you're the favourites. But this weekend, you're definitely coming in as underdogs. So that kind of gives me a little bit of, more of a, not scared about it, but it's more of like wary about the fact that you guys have obviously lost 5 games and obviously drew that Feyenoord game, which was crazy as anything. But look at that Spurs game. Is that Spurs game the worst you've ever played this season under Guardiola? Actually, I would say.
Yeah, look, Tottenham away in the cup is the Carabao Cup. If you won that, didn't win that, is what it is. We'll excuse that one because it's Carabao. We've won enough time as it is. But I think Bournemouth away, we got battered. We're lucky that it was 4-5-1, but in the end, we actually did play well towards the end. We got a goal back and go back to the game again. So Brighton, we actually were 1-2 bad, but the problem is with Brighton is that they found a way in and then they got the win. And Brighton are a good team when they're playing really well. Tottenham, no, it was genuinely embarrassing to watch because it's like the chance we could have been 2-0 up in that game. If Haaland caused some chances at the start of the game, that could have been a battering. It could have been like a 4-2, 5-2 City win if goals go in on our end. Problem is, so it's if buts maybes chances. Put chances away. I don't care how we dominate the game. Stats mean nothing. Put the ball back to the net. The aim of football is to score goals to win the game. Like that's what matters at the end of the day. And when we don't do that, and top goal they scored right was so easy, such an easy way of going through. Like the way Madison sort of glided past our defense, that does not happen a lot for us. And that was the one sign, right? This defense needs leadership. It needs someone to get together because this, and the high line against Feyenoord was bad enough, but this needs to rectify because if Tottenham and Feyenoord are getting through that quickly, how well Madrid are shit right now anyway. So Madrid don't really count right now as a team I'm worried about anyway because they're terrible. Well, worse than we are. That's saying something. I was like, what? How are PSG worse than we? It's football. It's which Champions League season this year, but I think for me, it's like that was the game where I was like, yeah, like this is like the low point. Like final was terrible, but Tottenham, the 4-0 loss at home, like it wasn't at their place, it was at the Etihad. Like 4-0 loss at home, after losing 4-0 loss at home. That felt like right. I said out there, we if you play them. Like if you can't play well and put effort in that kind of game where like you're at home with your fans behind you, then some of them players I think, right, it's time to move some of these players on because if you can't give your all in a game, like then it ain't good enough for me. So yeah, you're right. That was for me the warning sign.
Do you think you're going through a similar stage with us? Because we went through a stage where we had a squad that was really aging badly. You know, we had Henderson, we had Fabinho and Milner, Bobby Firmino, you know, players who were sort of in their sort of mid-30s, sort of coming towards the end of their careers. I look at your squad at the moment. Like Kyle Walker's fallen off a cliff. By the way, I don't know what has happened to Walker. Well, he is falling off like a cliff. Obviously, De Bruyne looks like it's probably his last season, unless obviously he decides to stay on. You've obviously got Gundogan back. I think he will probably go at the end of the season as well. Can you see a big reshuffle and a big squad overhaul in the summer?
Over the next 2 years, this squad will change. Yeah, I think Pep signed the other and said, right, this squad, I'm not leaving this team on this. Like, I've got to make sure that we win stuff again. Let's say, I reckon he'll leave. Let's say I'm a Champions League under him. They'll say, right, I'm done. Because I think once this team gets sorted out, we can do that. Because we work with it. We just need to get the rest of the team sorted out. Then when that works out, we'll be right. I think this summer will be a huge. Will leave. I think someone like Ake or Stones, I think will get done because a lot of players now will start getting players in who are going to be playing a lot more at a high level of fitness. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I think for me personally, I'm actually looking forward to it. I think this team is unbelievable. I love every single one of them for what they've brought to this club, what they've won. But every team has their day. And we've got to start looking forward now for the future of this team. I think that's why for me, like obviously Haaland's getting a new deal, so is Rodri. So them two are going to be here. So Diaz and Foden as well. So they'll be the signing that will be of this team anyway, going forward anyway. It's just making sure. I think so will Savio, so will Bob, Doku probably as well, and obviously Grealish probably get someone else there. You have a fresh team of young players coming through again. That's what we need. We need a bit of youth in there, a bit of experience as well, and I'm looking forward to it. I think, like yourself, when you got McAllister and new players yourself, it was like this team's done very well, but time to move on. It's time for a change. And football doesn't always say it always moves forward. It doesn't stay around. That father time always comes to everyone. So Walker will be gone, Gundogan will be gone. Kevin De Bruyne isn't terrible. He's still very, very good. Still at a high level, but he's 34 next year. And as much as he would probably still do really well in this league at 34, 35, 36 years old, we need someone long term who's going to replace him. Because you can't just tell him, right, you're playing week in, week out. Because he can't do it anymore. I don't blame him. He's 34. He's 34, for God's sake. Like, every player will have their day at some point. And I just think we need someone like that who can come in to look at quality and say, right, I'm not replacing Kevin De Bruyne because you never will. Like, De Bruyne's level was that high. Like, he probably just won a Ballon d'Or, probably, how good he was, but he was so unlucky with people around him. I think for me, it's all about going forward. I want to see some changes. I want to see a bit of refresh. No one's told anything. I mean, this season's still open for us, but I just want to see a bit of the future. Our manager situation sorted out. Now it's time for the squad to be sorted out, and I look forward to seeing what comes next. Definitely.
I think it'll be a big summer. I think you'll have a lot of players put in out. So yeah, we'll get on to the game. How do you think City will line up on Sunday?
Right. Now, look, obviously, Bob the Rodri, so them two are be playing. So this get out of them. So I think, as far as I know, I think Doku and Diaz now back. So that's good because bit of pace, bit of trickery, also a leader at the back. So no Stones. Stones is as frustrating as it is anyway. That's a whole different story. But I think going off who I know is fit, I would go with obviously Edison and goal. He wasn't good at Feyenoord, but most of the season he's been pretty good anyway. So I'll give him the 2 games he hasn't played well in. It's not it is what it is. Edison, I'll probably go right back. Kanji, Diaz, Ake, Vardiol. So I'll go with that. I think Kyle Walker for me is just done. Like he ain't good enough anymore. It is what it is. But I think it's time to move on at some point. Enrique Lewis has played far too many games. I think he's some rest. I'm not saying he can handle Anfield. I think he can handle Anfield, but he's played too many games. He's 20 years old. He's been managed much more than this, and we let him down not buying players in the summer. But I think I'll go with. I think Gundogan has to play because we've got no one else at this point. I think go Gundogan. Yeah, I want to go Gundogan, Foden, De Bruyne, but I think Nunes shouldn't be dropped. He can't drop Nunes for how well he's playing right now. I think I probably would go with Gundogan, De Bruyne, Nunes. I drop Foden or play him on the wing. I just think Foden for me hasn't been anywhere near good enough to. I think for me he has to be dropped. It's the reaction from him. I think I play Savio, Doku, and Holland up front. I think that the pace on the wings, and obviously got or Jack as well. So we've got wingers at least to use now. It's good. So we've got options on the bench now, which is good. But I think for me, a bit of pace, a bit of control. I think you probably want a bit of pace. Eventually, obviously, Robertson's not the same player he was anymore. I don't think he's terrible. He's still a good player, but the pace is gone now. So I think someone like Savio against him will be interesting to watch to see how that plays off. But that's what I would go with. But it's a whole different story of Pep Roulette. You have no idea what's going to happen, who's going to play. So, but yeah, that's what I go personally. I think I'm a bit different now, but that's what I want to see.
Yeah, look, we all know Pep Roulette, well, don't we? We don't know what team he's gonna pick. It was a bit like Klopp when he was at Liverpool. We didn't know what kind of team he was going to play either. So I honestly think the Liverpool team picks itself at the moment. For me, I think Kelleher starts. For me, Kelleher has been absolutely outstanding, and it kind of goes to show we've not missed Alisson at all. It just goes to show that when you have faith in your understudy, who he's been absolutely outstanding. I honestly think he's probably better than most first choice keepers at in the Premier League. I would say he honestly is, and I think when we look back on his Liverpool career, I think we're going to kind of see. He's been so important in big games, especially winning like the League Cup, winning the FA Cup as well. He's been outstanding. So yeah, I think it'll be Kelleher in goal. Bradley did come off with an injury, so that's. I think if Bradley had not been injured, I actually think Bradley would have started. So Kelleher, Trent, Kanai. Now, Kanai, that's the big one. Is he going to be fit? I'm not sure. So, I think Gomez will come in for Kanate. I think it'll be Van Dijk, Robertson, because Tsimikas is injured. So, the back four speaks for itself. So, Kelleher, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gravenberch, McAllister. Now, For me, I'm going to go Curtis Jones. I think another player that needs to be spoken about, Curtis Jones. He has been outstanding since becoming a dad. He has had a very, very good season, and obviously got his first England goal against Greece the other week there. So he's doing really, really well. Then I think it'll be Diaz on the left, Sal obviously on the right, and then I think Nunes. I think that's the lineup you go with. It. Bit harsh on Gakpo because I know he scored against Real Madrid, but yeah, I think the thing is with Gakpo as well. You kind of look at him, and the Carabao Cup is definitely his competition. He loves scoring in that. Comes off the bench against Real Madrid and scores. So don't put it past him coming off the bench and potentially getting grabbing a goal on Sunday. Look, it's going to be a fascinating encounter because the last couple of games, I thought last season was a bit tight. It was like it was 1-1, but had Diaz had the shooting boots on, I think it would have been sort of 2-3-1. Obviously we did have the Doku, McAllister incident. I'm not even going to get into referees because I think honestly, I think the refereeing is the worst it has ever been. But obviously the game 1-1 at the Etihad as well. So yeah, we've had a couple of draws. We've had a few wee draws. So something's definitely got to give. So, what is your score prediction going into this one?
The thing is, right, everyone's assuming that we'll get battered, and look, we do, but people, I think the problem is for Liverpool isn't really that good, because I think, we actually got to turn up and beat them now, because if City should use this as the way, right, and run the dogs, go there and give your all, because you know, in football, what can happen? We could win the game somehow on Sunday. Like, it's not out of the question, it's possible in football, but if I'm being realistic, look, honestly, I think it'll either be a draw or a loss for us. I think if we get a win, I'll be buzzing because that means all of a sudden it's like I said again. Suddenly I was like, shit, they're back, and then we say that there's one game. One doesn't mean for me. You got to win more than just one game before you're probably back in it again. But I probably will go for 2-2. If I'm being, I think it'll be. I think Liverpool. Defensively, I want to see how I think against Southampton they weren't good at all. I mean, Madrid, look, Mbappe was terrible. He was shocking. And I think Haaland offers a different threat. Now, I know Virgil's strong and we'll keep best against him, but Haaland's movement, especially if Kevin De Bruyne is playing as well, it won't be easy because you've got to mark De Bruyne and Haaland. And when they're both on it, how good you are as a defender. Even the best defenses in the world against us struggle because of how good we are. So if we got the right players on the pitch, I think it can be a very, very competitive game. But I'll go 2-2. I think you'll score first, then we'll get a goal. Then it'll be like it'll be a very good game, I reckon. I think if we can get a draw, I'll take it because it's 8 points. It's not like it's not great, but I'm like, okay, well, it's not terrible. It's it's still one loss for you, one win for us, 5 points again. So it's not. I get out there with a draw. I'm happy. I'm going to Forest Palace trying to get wins. So, yeah, I'll go 2-2.
I've had a couple of 2-2s, haven't we? We've had one at the Etihad, we've had one at Anfield. So, yeah, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it ends in a draw. Yeah, I honestly think, and you're absolutely right about Mbappe. I think he was absolutely awful at Anfield. He really, really was. I think there's now a sort of an tendency of people actually noticing he doesn't fit in that Madrid side. He wants to play in his main position, which is left wing. Obviously, Vinny's now out injured, and he just looked lost. He looked completely lost in a team of Galacticos, and. Unfortunately, the penalty as well, it was a shocking penalty. It's so clear so clear height for Keller to save it. But obviously, going away from that, I just think the place will be absolutely buzzing on Sunday, especially with what happened against Real Madrid. You know, first win in 15 years against Real Madrid, which is absolutely mental to say the very least. I was only 16 the last time we beat Real Madrid, so now at the age of 32, it's that's been a long time coming, to say the very least. I do think you're vulnerable. I think there's players in your team that are making very weird decisions. Gavardiol against Feyenoord, for example. I don't know what to do. But then again, I actually think Gavardiol hasn't recovered since being given the runaround by Ben Doak at Hampden when Scotland beat Croatia. Sorry, had to mention it. And I've just got a feeling, and as well, you look at last season. Obviously, Ederson had to come off injured last time against Liverpool in the league because he gave away a penalty, which was Aki's wrongdoing. Played a really very bad ball to Ederson. Núñez gets on the end of it. He's absolutely clattered by Ederson, and obviously Ederson had to come off injured, and obviously Ortega had to come on there as well. I've noticed a wee thing about City recently. When you concede, your heads drop. Now, I think you cannot afford to concede the first goal on Sunday, because I think if you do, I think heads drop, and I think we get a couple. I'm going 3-1 Liverpool because I've got a feeling what's going to happen is I think we score first. I think the heads will drop. You'll probably grab one. But again, it's whether or not you can keep us out. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. I can safely say that. But I just think the way you are playing at the moment, and look, if Diaz plays, then it's very good to have a leader at the back. I think that's what you've been missing recently. You've not had a leader at the back. I know John Stones has been, in and out of the side. Look, he's a fantastic player, don't get me wrong, but again, injury prone. Ake, like him, I think he's been a really good servant for City, good player for Bournemouth as well. But again, injury prone as well. Gavardiol, he always picks up a goal somewhere. He always has a goal in him when he goes away from home. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. I think Diaz will get one this time because I think he is due a goal because of what happened last season. I think Salah will get one. I'm going to go McAllister to get another one. I think he might get one. And for you guys, I think I could probably see De Bruyne maybe getting a goal. I know Holland haven't scored much at Anfield. The last time he scored, I think, was for Red Bull Salzburg. So I think it's going to be a very intriguing game. But is this a must not lose for Manchester City? Because how would you feel about being 11 points behind? Look, it has been done before. I've been watching Premier League years for most of this week, and I remember I vaguely remember the years where Newcastle were 12 points ahead of Manchester United. They managed to claw that back. They managed to go in and win the league. It wouldn't be game over, and I know people are obviously you looking at that, but 11 points would be a massive gap at this stage, wouldn't it?
It would be. I think. If we lose on Sunday, even if you get a result, I'll say to the players, don't worry about the league. Right now, get your act together because you can't be winning a league title if you can't get your head right. Like, get up here, sort out, get the performances going again, and then let's see where we are in New Year. Because you can't, again, over this period, Liverpool will drop points at some point. You aren't going to win the rest of the year. You could do, but be realistic here with football. You won't because this league's far too competitive to go beat more. It's hard to go beat it now. So I think it's all down to how we recover. If we do lose on Sunday, then we think, right, okay, league is what it is. If we get some results, Liverpool drop points here and there, then let's see what happens. But until then, focus on yourselves. Even if you win on Sunday, focus on yourselves. Because this team needs to get back together again. Needs to focus. Let's stay injury free, and just go through the rest of this obviously of December on a good run. Derby Day, also coming up. Better away coming up. I want to get some good results. So I think all we've got to do is just find our form again. That's what even no matter the result on Sunday, find the form because it's been lost for over a month now.
Yeah, 100%. Luke, it's been an absolute pleasure to welcome you onto the channel for the first time, and I really hope you've enjoyed this. And guys, please go and check out Luke's channel. It is in the description down below. But if people haven't heard about Not in My Lifetime pod, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, just as you just said there, I found a normal time pod. I started off in March. I mean, you hear Aries like over the years, but I haven't really given the channel a go properly. Well, I've done it on my own, but I thought I'd do it with some friends rather than just myself. And it's become something that I've loved to do. We're going really well. Obviously, got a big community getting bigger, obviously, every week now, which is good. Obviously, got to help from other people, but it's good to have a way of talking about football with your mates, obviously other people as well, get to collaborate with other people. It's more of a community thing. And that's kind of like what you should all be about with football and that. So, yeah, just as you just said there, follow link description. You to follow a lot of stuff coming soon on the channel, some podcasts. Obviously, got episode weekend of different people, different collaborations with people as well coming soon. So yeah, it should be there on the road to 1K. Bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure to welcome you onto the show, and yeah, we'll see what happens on Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating game, and then obviously we come into the very busy festive fixture list coming up. It's games after games. I'm just so glad there's no international breaks till March now, to say the very least. But look, Liverpool City, always a very interesting game. Always fireworks between the two. It should be a very interesting one. But from myself and Luke, it is goodbye, and we'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye for now.